Okay, we will begin on our mat. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure my mic was working. And we'll begin with this meditation of the Hebrew month Adar, which is broken into Aleph Dar. The Hebrew letter Aleph means oneness, infinite light, the Ein Sof, and Dar means dwelling. So Adar is when we can create dwellings for this light of the infinite one to dwell. Specifically, how do we create those vessels to allow light and Hashem's oneness to come through? In this month, we create vessels through joy, through laughter, through play. And it's a joyous creation of our homes. And our first home is our body, for Hashem to be able to dwell within. And from there, we can expand and create homes and communities, and then a whole world that is fit for the divine presence to dwell. So we just came out of Parshas Truma, and many of the Parshiot in this Hebrew month of Adar are about building the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary in the desert. And it's no coincidence that in this Parsha, we get the koach for the entire year, the strength for the whole year to create our homes for God. When God tells Moshe, "You shall make me a sanctuary and I will dwell within them," the commentators point out that the word for Mishkan is singular, but them is plural. So what is going on here? You shall make me a Mishkan and I will dwell within them. And if you were in the group, you saw that I posted this and sent you this insight, is that the commentators all say that Hashem is saying, I want to be within each one of you. I want you to each create me a Mishkan through your bodies and your hearts, that I shall dwell within your personal Mishkan. So we're all building our Mishkans right now, and we're helping each other build our Mishkans, building our inner home fit for the divine presence to dwell. And that there's nothing more deeply embodied than that. Our bodies are here to be vessels for the Creator, for the divine light to come through. And so it's a really auspicious time to notice the physical vessels of our body and the soul that enlivens every part of our body and every cell. And when we can build our Mishkan, then we can help other people build their Mishkan and build a Mishkan between each other. So, and it's all through joy. So let's begin in a seated meditation by sitting down in a comfortable position and rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears, bringing the hands wherever they feel comfortable. Being aware that your body is physical and coarse and earthly. This physical aspect of the Mishkan, the Dar in Adar. And then we'll bring the Aleph into the Dar by focusing on the breath and letting the breath fill the entire body with awareness. Every place that the breath touches is light from our Creator, is renewed energy. Feel your body vibrating with a desire for life to dwell within you. So every cell is beginning to expand and open to receive the Aleph. And this Aleph, through the breath, Every inhale, you're allowing in the Aleph, the oneness, to fill you. And every exhale, you're expanding, opening, creating space for life to dwell within your body. And with this inhale, as we invite in the Aleph, we're also opening to joy. And every exhale, we expand our vessels a little bit wider to hold space for the other and to hold space for this light coming down, this new light from the new moon. Take a few breaths like this, inhaling the Aleph, inhaling this light, this joy. And exhale as the body expands and opens like a vessel. Inhale, inviting in joy. And exhale, expanding and opening. Keep breathing in this way. And in the Gemara, it says that we should spend a whole hour each day focused on reflecting on our higher self, which is really our authentic self. And this authentic self is one that is naturally joyous, naturally open to receive light from the Creator. So let's spend this hour reconnecting with that authentic self, unearthing joy with every breath and movement, knowing that this joy is our natural state of being. It's not where we have to go. We just have to remove the blockages. Let's open the eyes and open the toes as we come into a squat, hands to the heart. So we're creating our first posture, and I invite you to, just like the Mishkan, this was a place that was impermanent. It was moving through the desert with the Jewish people. There was no permanent spot, but it was ever changing. It was where the indwelling presence of the divine rested, yet there was always continuous movement and change and uncertainty where the next place was. So similarly, we can treat every pose as such. We don't know where we're going next, but in every posture, we can be fully open to receiving awareness and receiving the divine. So let's take a few deep breaths here, sinking into this first Mishkan, this first posture, inviting in joy through the breath. Beautiful. And bring the hands down and walk the feet out wide into a wide-legged forward fold. So toes are hugging in, heels are wide. And we're right away starting upside down because in the month of Adar, we want to flip everything on its head. Lenafochu, just like in Adar, everything was flipped. It's a chance to see the world with a new perspective. Flip everything on its head. Just like when we drink wine, we don't know the difference between blessed be Mordechai and cursed be Haman. This allows us to just flip everything around and see things in a new light. And part of this practice is releasing expectations. So with every pose, releasing what it should feel like or what your body should look like, and just allowing what is. And we'll walk the feet back together, heels in. Once again, hands to the heart for a squat. Time we'll wrap the left arm around and the right fingertips to touch for a bind on the left hip. Opening up to the right, sinking down through the heels. Letting every breath unearth joy. And there are many forms, many expressions of joy. For some, it's more of a deep serenity. For some, it's big expansion. So whatever joy you unlock today comes from releasing expectations and just being open and curious to what arises. Let's switch to the other side. Take the right hand and bind around that right hip. Opening up, rolling the left shoulder back. And I invite you to smile if that feels natural to you. And notice how that little gesture of a smile can open up channels of joy. Nice. And bringing the hands back to the heart, lifting the crown. And Adar is a month of floating, just like when you're drinking wine, you're kind of floating from place to place. So let's just imagine the brain in the head is floating. So the thoughts are a little bit more aloof and light, a little bit detached. Feel the back of the crown floating. Then bring the hands forward, heels parallel, forward folds. Flipping around again, flipping your view, Lenafohu. Adar is when we accept the paradox of life. Things don't always have to make sense, and we just witness all the paradoxes. Sometimes that creates laughter when we see something that doesn't make sense. Adar is the avoda of laughter, refining and elevating our hush of laughter. Light bend of the knees, and inhale, we'll sweep on up, reaching up high, lengthening the whole body, like we're lifting up to the new moon and the new light above, being a channel for this new energy to flow down through us. Joy, laughter, lightness. And then dive forward into the new month with positivity, a little bit of a smile. Inhale, flat back. Hands to shins or tops of thighs. And exhale, hands to the mat, and we'll step into all fours. So Ramtinson says the main practice of Adar is lightness. So wherever you can find lightness in the body and the toes and the fingers, we'll take some cat and cows, but focusing on where you can be light and floaty. Kind of like a cloud. Can also come onto the fingertips for these cat and cows to really open up these channels of play. Nice. Back to all fours. We'll spin onto the right knee and left heel. The right palm, the right knee, and left heel are all in one line. We'll press into the outer edge of that left heel, open the left side body by sweeping the hands over the crown, finding so much spaciousness. So Adar is when we accepted the Torah with our whole body awake. Then Har Sinai, in Sivan, we accepted the Torah in a dreamlike state. We slept, and there was a lot of psychedelic things happening. But in Adar, our body was fully there and awake. So it's when we accept the Torah with our full body and our full awareness. So feeling the sensations in the whole side body. Then coming back to all fours, but keeping the left toes on the ground. Press into the left heel, opening through the back calf. Keep the ball mount of that left toe planted on the ground. Press into all 10 fingers and draw the knee into the chest, rounding the spine. And then we'll kick the right leg back for downward facing dog with 3 legs. Bend the knee, open the hip, gazing under that right forearm. Let's make some big wide circles with the right knee. Opening the hip up. Then send the right leg back into 3-legged dog. Gaze forward and step the right foot all the way through. Keep the left knee lifted. Really bending deep into that front leg here. We'll lift up into warrior 1, sinking the hips really low. But Adar is about play and lightness, so add some bouncing here. Light bouncing up and down. Maybe a gentle smile, a floating of the brain. Lightness in the fingers and in the toes. We can roll out those wrists and then circle them all the way down to the mat. Hands to the front of the mat. Nice. And we'll step the right foot back into a downward facing dog. Take some deep breaths here in down dog. And let's invite in a childlike state of wonder for the movements. And allow our joy to be through the eyes of a child, just like you're waking up and exploring your body for the very first time. Drop the knees to the mat. Come onto the fingertips. We'll take a cat and cow here, really nice and light. We'll spin the heel the other way, so the left knee is planted, right heel is down, and left palm are all in one line. Sweep the right arm up and over. Openness through the whole side body. Inviting in this expansiveness. And we'll turn back to the mat. Keep the left knee down, keep the right toes planted on the mat as you press through the right heel, so opening through the calf. Keep the knuckles planted into the earth, and then draw the knee into the chest, rounding the spine, hugging the knee in, and 3-legged dog, extend through the left leg. Bend the knee, open the hip, roll it out, big circles. And level out the hips, three-legged dog. Gaze forward, step the left foot all the way through, bending deep in that front leg. Inhale up to a warrior one. Find some bouncing here, lightness. Can find some wrist rolls. Then roll the wrists all the way down as you're bouncing. Roll them down, set them on the mat. Step it back, downward facing dog. Hips are floating up and back, heels are planting. The spine is growing long. We'll kiss the feet together. So we're creating one leg. Inhale the right leg high. And exhale, step the right foot all the way through. This time we'll lunge forward onto the front leg so the fingertips are really light in front of you. Left leg is lifted. Stay right here or bring the hands up to the heart. Remember, this is a month of play, so falling is part of Adar. That's why we drink wine. And we're really testing our boundaries in Adar. You can open the arms, find whatever any variation of warrior three that feels like you're really pushing your edge, allowing for play and expansiveness. Then bring the fingertips to the mat, lift the left heel away from the right, and we'll walk the right fingertips to the outside of the mat and open the left arm, open the left hip for half moon. Opening up to the new moon, new energy. All the transformation that Adar allows us, all those transformations, will invite it in. Left fingertips down. Step the left foot way back for a low lunge. Left palm plants down. And we'll open up to the right, on the outer right edges of the feet. So we're deepening into that right hip. The right hand kind of falls behind wherever feels right. And we'll take some big transitional movements. So from this deep hip stretch, sweep the right arm up and back to a low lunge. You can practice that a few times. Low lunge, inhale the right arm up and over into a twist, and then on into the outer edges of the feet, into that hip stretch, letting the right arm fall. So practice that through those transitions, big expansive movements, finding play and openness. Doesn't matter if you land exactly where you want it to, just release expectations and let your body just move and enjoy. And we'll meet at that low lunge when you're ready. Step back into downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here in down dog. And in the line, when Adar enters, we increase in joy. Marbem besimcha. Some sages teach us it's not that when Adar enters, we increase in joy, but this line is saying that we reach joy in Adar through marbim, through increasing everything, increasing movement, increasing laughter, adding on expansiveness, bigness, largeness. So the way to get to joy this month is through Marbim. So we'll come onto the other side, really focusing on allowing expansive, big, open movements. We'll step the left foot between the hands, lunge forward, warrior three, light on the fingertips, big open warrior three pose, either hands to the heart or fly them open. Marbim besimcha, big movements, bigness of spirit, costumes, face painting, drinking, all of that helps. In yoga, we can increase our big movements. Hands to the mat, walk the left fingertips to the outside of the mat, open that right hip. Right hand can be on the hip, or you can open the arm for half moon. Feeling that marbim just increasing in all areas of life. Sometimes when we feel stuck or we don't feel waves of joy, we just have to physically move, get out of our own way, jump up and down, clap, do something big. Release the right fingertips, lift the right heel away from the left heel for standing splits. Creating lots of space between the legs. And then step the right foot all the way back to that low lunge. We'll take those big transitions between low lunge, planting the right hand, opening the left arm up to a side twist, coming onto the outer edges of the feet as the left palm falls behind you. So use your big expansive breaths as you go from low lunge to the twist into the hip opening. At your own pace, trusting in your breath. Last one. Here, we'll meet in a low lunge. Step the left foot back to downward facing dog. Feel all the joy that you've already unearthed. The joy that is just inherently located in every breath, in the presence of being in this posture. And we'll take a light bend of the knees and look forward, hop to the top of the mat very lightly. Fold forward. Inhale, really light knees as you roll up, hands sweep above you, and exhale, hands to the heart. Feeling the joy in the heart. Feeling the heart sing and smile. And the tribe of the month of Adar is Naphtali. Naphtali was blessed with Zerizus. It's a Hebrew word that means swiftness and alacrity. Naphtali was likened to a deer. So if you can imagine a deer just swift, free-flowing, easy movements, fluid, let's invite that energy of Naphtali into the body. And we'll take a vinyasa flow, very simple, back to standing, but one full vinyasa, feeling this energy of the swift deer and the agility of Naphtali. So release the hands. Inhale, sweep them up, gaze to the sky. Exhale, swiftly folding forward. Inhale, floating heart. Exhale, hands to the mat. Very lightly step back into plank. I'm going to bring the knees down for more lightness. Come all the way down to the mat. Feel your body light on this earth. Inhale, floating the heart up, looking forward. And tuck the toes swiftly, hips up and back, light on the toes. Light bend in the knees, hop or jump forward, fold with swiftness. Light bend as we inhale, rolling all the way up. Palms above the crown. And exhale, hands to the heart. We'll take 3 breaths here. And the element of Adar is water, which adds to this ability to naturally flow from one thing to the next. It's like we drink a lot of wine, flowing drink on Adar, in Adar, and fluidly being able to move between identities with costumes. We can leave our rigid, stuck identity and flow into something new entirely. It's really the process of mental agility, lightness. And we'll release the hands, step the right foot back. If you have blocks here, you can bring them under the hands for pyramid pose. Otherwise, come onto the fingertips. So both heels are planted, both legs are straight. And for some reason, this pyramid pose feels most like a mishkan to me, like a very stable structure. Yet the mishkan was impermanent and allowed for the divine presence to rest, even if it was only built for one day. It was totally unpacked, and the Jewish people were settled and they would prepare their homes, even if they were there for one day. So in every posture, we allow ourselves to fully arrive and inhabit the fullness of this shape. Each breath, feel your whole body being enlivened by your soul through the breath. And we'll take a revolved pyramid pose. So bring that right hand onto the block, left hand come onto the hip, and perhaps reach the fingertips high. Hugging inner thighs together. Little smile, floating of the brain. And fold back to pyramid. Nice. Remove the blocks. Bend back into that low lunge. Step the left foot back into a downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank or bring the knees down. Lower all the way to the mat. Inhale, lift the heart. Fill the heart with joy, like you're drinking up the well springs of Adar. And then tuck the toes. Float on back to downward facing dog. One fully enlivening breath here. Inhaling joy, expansiveness. Exhale, settling here in this posture. Light bend in the knees, gaze forward. Hop to the top of the mat, fold. Inhale, rolling all the way up. Palms above the crown. Exhale, hands to the heart. Noticing any joyful feeling that arises in the heart. Greet this feeling with tenderness. Any joyful thought, greet it. And we'll bring the hands to the hips. We'll step the left heel back this time. If you have the blocks, you can bring them to either side of the foot. Bring the right hip in, hugging the inner thighs towards each other, planting both heels down and then folding forward. Growing the crown towards the top of the foot. It says in brachas, just like God and his presence fills the whole world, so too our soul fills the entire body. And just like God, the Holy One, sustains the whole world, so too does our soul sustain the whole body. So let this shape be an exploration of that inhabiting soul with our body. Left hand plants down, right hand to the right hip for revolved pyramid. Maybe reach the right arm high. Come back to pyramid pose. Fold into yourself. Bring the hands to either side of the foot and step the left toes back into that low lunge. From low lunge, we'll step back into downward facing dog. Stay right here, or optional vinyasa, very light as we wipe forward. Knees come down, heart to the mat. Inhale, soaking up the heart with play, with joy, with expansiveness. Tuck the toes, float it back, downward dog. We'll drop the knees and come into a deep heart opener. So if you have your blocks, you can place the blocks under your elbows for melting heart pose. If you don't have blocks, you can also put books right under the elbows, or you can totally disregard it and just put elbows on the floor, forehead to the mat, and fingertips above you. So whatever variation you choose, you're allowing for a deep compression in the back, big opening in the front of the heart. Inviting in joy on the inhale. On the exhale, we open our vessels to become a dwelling for this divine oneness of the Aleph to inhabit and sustain our whole body. Deep breathing, opening up, orienting ourselves to joy, even if we're not feeling it yet. We're tuning towards it, we're moving towards it. Little baby steps. From melting heart pose, we can remove the blocks. Lower all the way onto our bellies, palms to the mat, and press the hands down, just lifting up the heart into cobra. Elbow tips hugging in, opening the front body, lifting the crown. See if you can smile here and smile through the chest and roll it down, heart to the mat. We'll try that again. Inhale, slowly lifting, lifting, lifting. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Smiling at the top. And exhale, exhale, exhale. Lengthen all the way down. Last one, but a little bit more alacrity and swiftness here. Inhale, all the way up. Smile. Exhale, lower all the way down. Relax. Beautiful. We'll bring the forearms forward into Sphinx. Press all 10 fingers down. Hug the elbow tips in. Soaking the heart with joy. And every day has so many pockets and opportunities for joy. So let's think about all the sources of joy that you have in your life right now. You can just make a mental list. It could be pouring your morning coffee, giving your pet a big warm hug, making a mental note of all of these opportunities and sources of joy. Now feeling it also in the present moment, this opportunity to practice in our bodies, on our mat, this ability to breathe with awareness. These are sources of joy. Let's press into the palms and lift the elbows for seal pose. You can also walk the palms in for a deeper heart opener. Fill yourself with this knowledge that joy is abundant in our lives. And roll the sternum down, forehead to the mat. We'll turn over onto our backs. If you have a block, bring it close by. If not, that's fine also. You can press the feet hip width distance, press them down and lift the hips. Place the block under your low back if you have one. Otherwise, you can keep it an active bridge. Open the palms. Adar is a month of receiving. Receiving the Torah through joy and through our bodies. And just like on Purim, Haman tried to destroy the Jewish body. Unlike Hanukkah, the Greeks tried to destroy not our body, but our spirit, our soul. Purim was against the Jewish body. So we celebrate Purim through the body. We celebrate our body as holy, as important. So let this pose be a celebration of our body that we survived. And not only that, but we're thriving, we're growing, and we're channeling the Aleph into Dar, the oneness into the dwelling. Take some breaths here, celebrating the gift of your body, the gift of this life. Let every breath feel really good here. Allow yourself to enjoy. The Priya Art says that the divine presence only rests upon a place of joy. We can go ahead and release the block from beneath you. Open the heels into happy baby pose. A lot of us are going to be dressing up on Purim and brings out our childlike play, drinking, having fun. Let's rock right and left. And remember to invite in our inner child into this month. Find some lightness in our home with our family members, with our friends. The body part of the month is the spleen, which is the source, the Gemara says, of laughter. So all of this points to our ability to not be so rigid in who we are or who we think we are, but allow fluidity, allow laughter to move us, be open to paradox. And we'll come into a full wheel here, just for Lena Fochu to turn everything on its head. Just like the whole Purim story, everything was turned over on its head. So let's bring the palms down, press into the heels, lift up into your wheel. Slowly lower down when you're ready. Whew, big expansion through the whole front body, feels really good. And we'll end in a final relaxation. So however you want to end this practice, either by bringing the soles of the feet together or laying out in a final relaxation. So I want us to locate any place in the body that feels light, expansive, or joyful. If you're having trouble locating a place of joy in the body, think of something recently that brought you joy and feel the sensation of that experience. Where in the body did you feel that sense of joy and openness? And we'll visualize from the mat. Here we're experiencing joy and lightness. And this is not meant to stay on the mat, but is meant to be infused and gifted into our life. So we can visualize this lightness, this joy, like a rainbow kind of channeling into another area of your life. It could be a room that you have in your house, a role, a relationship, any place in your life that you would like to infuse and direct this joy and lightness. Be it like a light beam lifting and like a landing where you place it. Wherever you choose to place this lightness, this joy, see yourself there in that room or with that person, in that role. See yourself occupying that space with this inner experience of light joy. Maybe you see yourself laughing or moving in a certain way or speaking in a certain way, dressing, acting in a certain light or manner. Our sages say that every day we should spend 1 hour reflecting on our higher self. I like to think of it as your authentic self. So, this practice of visualizing ourself with joy, which is our authentic self, helps us to unblock all the concealments that get in the way from brightly inhabiting each space in our life. So for this next minute or two, let's do the sacred work of seeing someone else inhabiting their full joy. Maybe someone in your life that needs a little encouragement, or maybe their soul needs a little bit of a wake up. Let's spend the last few minutes seeing them in their full authentic joy. Very sacred work. And I'd like you to stay here and spend as much time as you need. And I encourage you to return to this work of reflecting on our joyous, authentic self every day, if not for the whole year during Adar, and if not for 1 hour, like our sages say, 20 minutes, 5 minutes. We can begin with ourselves and then we can help others so that they can build their holy Mishkan, their dwelling place that is a vessel of joy and a vessel of love And those vessels can be filled then with the Aleph of Adar, with the Orim Sof, the infinite light. Chodesh Tov, and I hope we all can tap into our greatest reserves of joy for ourselves and for others. And may we be a support for each other on this journey. Thank you so much.